We've got Mr. Lee Cook, he, him from Canada, says that the Bible proves that Jesus is God. I don't know what name I should call you, Mr. Lee or just Lee. But anyway, you're on AXP. How you doing?
No, my friend. It's Monsieur Le Cook, because I'm here to serve. So
Monsieur Le Cook.
You started Le Cook. Yeah, I'm here to cook and serve you something delicious. So I heard something very interesting.
Just out of curiosity, is this the same Mr. Delicioso and Mr. Yum Yum and all the same things?
El Delicioso, Monsieur Delicieux, Monsieur Le Chef. Yes.
So same guy. Yeah, same trend. The one that's been shut down on several shows for several reasons a lot. Shut down.
Well, I never saw that part. Maybe I have amnesia. Maybe you can refresh my memory where I got shut down. So you started the show by saying, give a reason for the faith that we have, of the hope we have. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to provide a syllogism, and hopefully this time you could really shut me down by addressing the syllogism.
Yes. I'm going to make a prediction before you do. I'm just going to make a prediction, is that judging by my memory of the past calls, and maybe I'm confusing with somebody else. Maybe I am. Forgive me if I am. But
no, you're not.
I get a lot of calls.
So you can confuse me.
Well, I guarantee I get hundreds of people that I talk to every week. So who knows, man? But if I'm going to make a prediction here, is that you're going to talk about something that's unjustifiable, and we're going to ask questions about it, and we're going to get into the meat of the problem, and then eventually you're going to drop some sort of slur, probably our slur, and then we're going to drop the call because we don't tolerate that kind of crap, and then you're going to rest on your laurels claiming victory because we dropped the call and couldn't debate you. Is that probably how this is going to go?
No. I'm going to do my best to be on my best behavior because I really want to serve you guys something very delicious.
Okay, well, I had a sample of this dish once before, but I wouldn't mind trying it again. So hit us with your syllogism, Mr. Le Chef.
Yeah, thank you. So it's a modus ponens. Premise number one, if Jesus is able to demonstrate universal sovereignty, that will make him God. Premise number two, Jesus did demonstrate universal sovereignty in virtue of the fact that he predicted the universal adoption of the 7-day week as the evidence of his authority over all nations. And conclusion, lo and behold, all nations keep a 7-day week going against their religious and cultural practices. Therefore, Jesus is God.
I disagree with both of those premises.
The first all three of them have issues.
The first one is just a statement. It's just a claim.
And one conclusion.
It's just a claim. Secondly, or the 7-day week was used before Jesus was alive. He didn't predict it. He just said, "That's mine," and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you could prove, in fact, that Jesus claimed to predict the adoption of the 7-day week. But just saying that's mine, and claiming credit for it is not compelling evidence. What do you think, Forrest?
Yeah, I just Googled it for one freaking second about how far back does the 7-day week go? And it goes back hundreds of years before BC, or I should say BCE, but in this particular case, BC is appropriate. It goes back to ancient Babylon, well before this. And also ancient China and Egypt had 10-day calendars. The Aztecs had a 13-day period. Burma had an 8-day period back, ancient Burma. But this is all these different cultures that have different cycles of weeks and different ways of measuring time. And it's the same thing as when you look at the Chinese calendar or the Jewish calendar, they have totally different years that we're looking at now. And so we all say 2023 because of the utility of having a global timekeeping system. But there are other cultures that don't use that and haven't used that throughout history. So all you're talking about is that everybody has agreed on this system that we're using globally for its utility, because this system has steamrolled over other practices, other cultures. That's not if that is the way that your God operates, it's a crappy way to operate and a really weak demonstration of his quote power. But overall, as Jamie said, I disagree with every premise you had. One of them's just a statement, the other one doesn't prove anything, and the third one's a crappy conclusion.
Can I address it now?
Sure.
Am I unmuted? All right, thank you.
You haven't been muted this whole time.
And hopefully I get a chance to respond to all of these things that you guys said. So number one, I debated Pat Lowinger, archaeologist and a historian, on the origins of the 7-day week on YouTube. Stanley Terry versus Pat Lowinger, and we have all the scholarship. We didn't do a Google search. We did all the scholarship as it relates to this issue. And here's my point of contention. There's no nation that kept their 7-day cycle before the Hebrews. That's historically supported. Now, you came with the Babylonian claim, and unfortunately, you're wrong. If you go to the primary source called the Enuma Elish tablets, you can go to the British Museum website, search box, put Enuma, Enuma, Elish, Elis, tablets. You go to 5th tablet verses 10 to 31, makes it clear they had a lunar cycle. A lunar cycle is not a recurrent 7-day week because it would add an extra 1 or 2 days to the last week. So that's not a recurrent 7-day week.
Okay.
So
I'll do you a favor. I have no way of independently verifying that right now. I don't want to do a lit review on it in the middle of the show. So I'm just going to say, okay, I believe you that the Hebrews were the first people to do that. The rest of everything that I said remains exactly the same. There were other people who didn't. So the only thing you're telling me now is that this has become the global practice. And my question to you is, do you think that's because of some divine intervention? Or do you think that it's because the also historically demonstrable fact that this one culture has steamrolled across the entire earth, committing genocide against everybody who disagrees with them and forcibly converting people all over the world, so that now to this point, pretty much the entire global north is using this system and the rest of the world just has to keep up if they want to survive in a global society? Like, what do you think is more likely here?
Okay, am I unmuted? Because I thought I was muted.
You have yet to be muted. I'm just asking you a question.
I was finishing. Okay, yeah, because I was finishing educating you on your
he already granted you that we believe what you say. Please respond to his query.
Just move on. I've already gotten past it.
I'm trying. Yeah. Okay. So now that you know that there was no nation that kept the 7-day week before the Hebrews, I'm going to help you out because you're seem to be not tracking here. You're saying there were nations that didn't keep the 7-day week. Yeah, that was part of my second premise. That's the whole point, is that they didn't have a 7-day week until Jesus fulfilled it. That was the whole argument. So for you to tell me that the Chinese didn't have a 7-day week, the Babylonians didn't have it, well, you claimed the Babylonians until I educated you on the topic. That is necessary for my argument to be validated. So I don't know why you are saying nations didn't keep to the 7-day week when my whole argument is predicated on that. That's number one. Number two,
I'm just going to repeat what I just said a second ago. The rest of my argument remains the same, irrespective of that. So I don't know why you're repeating it and trying to claim some victory here. You're saying one thing, I'm saying the other thing. I'm not going to check it right now, and I don't have the means to anyway. So let's assume you're right. Nothing changes about the rest of what I've said.
Okay, I was addressing a different point. Maybe I'm not speaking well. I just said I was addressing your point that you were saying that nations were keeping to the 7-day week before that. And I'm saying that's necessary because my whole argument is predicated on all nations.
The chef,
may I just... For you to be arguing, that's
sir, the chef, one second, please, sir, please. All right, let me grant you both of your premises and say, okay, you've proven that Jesus predicted the universal adoption of the 7-day week, and this does in fact make him God. He's a shit God. He has one power, predicting a 7-day week. You've not demonstrated any other godly instance. So can you now prove that Jesus created the world, or healed the sick, or did any of the other things that are supposedly in the Bible?
All right. So am I unmuted? All right. So
no one's muted you.
One godly I'm trying to respond. He proved one godly instance? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. But
your syllogism proves...
Interrupting me again.
Your syllogism proves that God is God because he predicted the universal adoption of the 7-day week, and that's it. Not a particularly robust prediction. Can you prove that he does anything else?
You tell me in virtue of what?
What? In virtue of what?
In virtue of what isn't that robust? You're just making statements, slogans without substantiating it.
I'm agreeing with your syllogism and saying that it doesn't prove much for the power of your supposed God.
So I'm going to repeat. In virtue of what? The fact that he submitted all nation universally, how is that not sufficient enough for him to be God? Can you tell me in virtue of what?
So the astronomers who predicted the position of Neptune, and now we all are submitted to that fact, they are also divine because they made an accurate prediction.
No, because my argument is predicated on him showing universal sovereignty by replacing something that was held for cultural and religious practices. And
I don't believe that shows universal sovereignty because if it was universal sovereignty, it would have been retroactive to the start of civilization, which is to Forrest's point about other civilizations not employing a 7-day week. And there were cultures using it after. It was a slow, continuous adoption. You know, your premises are weak, man. And it's obvious you think you've got something super shit hot here. But you've tried to sell it to every host on multiple shows. None of us are buying it, and we've always argued against it. And if you read the responses from people in the comments and stuff, I know it's kind of toxic. No one's buying it, man. And I think that I'm sorry that you're not getting through to us.
Coping, or can I respond? Or are you done coping, or can I just respond to?
Okay, you can turn down the condescension. If you want to talk to this guy Forrest, that's cool. I'm done.
Yeah, it's really, really lame that we're trying to talk to you, and it seems like you're more interested in being arrogant and just, you know, telling us how much you've educated us and how much we're cool. It seems more interested that you're more interested in putting on a show and trying to get screen time than actually talking about what you've called in for. We're not giving you anything that's beyond just like logic, reason, and questions here.
Logic? I gave the syllogism. You came with 5, 6 different points. Then I addressed the points, not all of them, but most of them. And he came right after I addressed the point. He came with an argument saying it should have been like that since the beginning. When I said my argument is predicated on something that would happen in the future. So therefore, by extension, you cannot say it was originally like that. So for you to argue it had to be originally like that, trying to claim that's undermining my position, it's like my head is about to explode. But I'm going to address what you said about conquering the world, as if you're suggesting that the calendar of the 7-day week was universal because of Rome. First of all, Rome was not a Christian state, number one. And number two,
didn't say anything about Rome.
Universal. Oh, so when you're saying that it was propagated, you're saying through the religion of quote unquote Christianity. Isn't that what you're trying to postulate?
That's part of it, but that's not the whole thing.
Okay, but I'm trying to help you out that the Gregorian calendar is not universal, but the 7-day cycle is. So it cannot be argued that it was through human agency or the Roman.
I
didn't say anything about the Gregorian calendar either.
And my problem is that even if you prove that Jesus, that you keep making the statement that the universal adoption of the 7-day week proves that he's sovereign. And if that's all it takes to be sovereign over the world, that everyone uses the same structure of days in a week, I mean, what if I just start doing a 14-day week? It's like Sunday 1, Sunday 2, and I'm no longer under his sovereignty. He's going to come down and stop me.
There's only one way for you to falsify that is if any country goes from a 7-day cycle to a different cycle. What you do individually is irrelevant because you're under the sovereignty of your government, and your government is under the sovereignty of Jesus Christ. So by extension,
my government, this one that I'm under, definitely is not. The one I came from was
because you're getting caught.
So I have a question, because like it seems like what I keep trying to get across is that the utilization of the 7-day week around the world is not a divinely inspired thing. It is the result of of largely ethnic cleansing, but also of just utility at this point. It's a way of everybody just kind of keeping up with the same thing, the same way that we, except for 2 countries in the world, all have the metric system, right? So like nobody's sitting here saying, oh, well, here's some other holy book that measured shit with tens. And since we all have the metric system, which is all based on tens everywhere in the world, therefore this other religion is right. That wouldn't make any sense. We found something that was easily standardizable. And because it was set to this standard, we were able to use it pretty much in the entire world, except for 2 countries that are holdouts. But otherwise, the entire world uses this metric system that's a set standard. And it's the exact same thing with the 7-day week.
Yeah.
It's just a standard that works. It doesn't work particularly well, but it's the reason why we have to have leap years and all these different things. But it's functional enough to get us through. It's kind of traditional. It's been around for a long time. It'd be a massive pain in the ass to try to change it at this point. And so we just all kind of do it. That's my whole argument. Jamie's argument is that even if you could back up the idea that it was absolutely, surely, and purely divinely inspired, that doesn't tell us anything else about all the other claims in the Bible. If I tell you that I can fly and somehow magically I can, that doesn't say anything about me being able to cure cancer or me being able to fart rainbows or any other ridiculous claim. Each claim has to stand on its own. So if Jesus said, I'm going to make the whole world have a 7-day week, and then somehow did, radical. That tells us nothing about him being God. That tells him nothing about him being the son of a God. That tells us nothing about him raising from the dead. That tells us nothing about him curing the sick. And every single claim has to be independently tested. So your initial premise and your syllogism that if he did this, then we know he's God is flawed to the start. So like both Jamie and I are trying to give you 2 like really just like basic questions to what you're saying. And all you keep repeating is, well, I said it. And you don't understand this other thing. It's like, I don't get like how we're not getting anywhere. And it, like I said, it seems like you're more interested in claiming some victory in this conversation than actually having the conversation.
Mm.
Am I unmuted now?
You've never been
muted. Yet to be muted. No one has muted you. So, I think you're just so used to pissing people off that you assume we are, but we're not. We're just asking questions.
I'm actually kind of having fun with this. I mean,
bypass that. Final 2 points. You said you want to have a conversation, so let me address your final 2 points. So you argued for utility and you argued for ethnic cleansing. So I was addressing the ethnic cleansing, but you're saying it's not Rome. So I don't know what ethnic cleansing you're talking about. But
I said not exclusively Rome. You pinned it on Rome and the Gregorian calendar and a bunch of shit that I didn't say, as if those are the only things.
That's kind of
also
British
I was going to say, you've got England right there as well, and you've got America right there as well. So like this, it's not just Rome. It's England, it's America, it's a bunch of other people throughout history.
I heard your point. So number one, that doesn't work because Japan adopted the 7-day week before Western influence. So 8th century, 8th century. That's in the 8th century. So you're gonna have to explain why they went against their 10-day calendar, going against their religious and cultural practices. Without any Western influence.
Okay, can I just take a slight...
Your points. Every time I address your points, you say you want a conversation, but every time I address your point, you interrupt and you come with a different point that you don't give me a chance to respond.
Well, you just said something that Jamie wants to ask about. Yeah. Like, you're calling into a show to have a talk. We're not just here to listen to you, dude. We're here to talk to you. So let's let Jamie address what you just said. And then if you don't have anything to add to that, you can move on to the next thing, like a conversation goes.
And I'm going to, for the sake of argument...
Let's have a conversation. Okay. Address Japan adopting the 7th week.
For the sake of argument, I'll accept it. I will accept that Jesus was a real guy and he... okay, I really want to get down on this. Is he sovereign because he predicted the adoption of the week, or do you believe that he caused the adoption of the 7-day week through some...
He caused it in virtue of the fact he predicted that something that's exclusive to him, since nobody else makes claims to a 7-day week.
Okay.
Exclusive to him.
I accept that. Okay, you've got me.
To answer your question, I thought we were having a conversation.
I have already accepted it. I've accepted it. I accept.
No, but I'm adding a little caveat to it because he predicted something that's exclusive to him, that has universal implication, and that goes against every religious and cultural practice.
Okay.
That's the reason why I say he's sovereign.
So your criteria for sovereignty is a unique prediction of something that is universally adopted, cannot be attributed to anyone else, and has transcendent has implications for both culture and religion.
Exactly. So if I said everybody's going to worship me, if I came with a prediction saying I am sovereign over you, everybody, I come with a universal prediction that is exclusive to me, I would have, and if that was validated, then I would have proven my sovereignty. Yes.
So by those criteria, I can list off a bunch of people who also meet that criteria. Anyone that has an SI unit named after them. Watt, Ohm,
I will
Coulomb.
become an atheist if you give me one example.
James Watt. He, through his knowledge and through his will, and his discovery of advances in electrical science, he predicted and created the watt, which is a universally and truly universally used measurement of potential difference. Same with ampere. The amp, anything that's got an SI unit named after it, the Newton. There you go.
Yeah. All of that is not analogous. Number one, it didn't change anything I held for religious and cultural practices. And number two,
yeah, it did.
Yes, it did.
Absolutely did.
I'm not.
These are the fundamental forces of the universe. Like, they change everything.
So I'm addressing your point. I know you want to have a conversation, but I'm addressing your point. Number one, I'm stipulating my points. Number one is not something that changes my religious and cultural practices. Number two is there was no prediction of that. And number three, I'm not submitted to that.
You are submitted to that. If you use
you are absolutely.
You are right now submitted to it because we're using electricity to talk.
Right.
But how? That was my last point.
I think that's great because like that really is it. Is that these are scientists that predicted something about the universe, did some tests, tested their hypotheses, came up with answers, and had SI units named after them, and all science depends on that. Like, you have to learn that to get ahead in science, to learn science. So like, I had to learn about amps and about newtons and about watts during my career as in academia, because that's how science works. It changed cultural and religious practices all around the world that had different units of measurements. It united the entire globe with those units of measurements. Even in America, where we don't have the metric system colloquially, we absolutely use it in science. The fact that you're calling us right now and we're broadcasting across the internet, all is based on those SI units. So like, yeah, there's some people, some human beings that did the exact same thing that you're talking about.
Glory unto what?
So I'm going to ask you one more time. Can you give me an example how it changed my religious practices, please?
Because now no religion can actually claim properly claim a 6,000-year-old, like anyone who's doing the whole young Earth creationism thing is demonstrably wrong because of the discoveries of science. Also, I would imagine that the measures used for things like communion wine and the amount of incense being bought and how much weight a wafer cracker is now done in grams or milliliters around the world rather than anything else. So in the finer points as well, you have to believe differently now than you used to 500 years ago. You have to use different logistics of worship, like how much wine you drink, what cracker you eat, this kind of thing. And the actual use of science in religion to broadcast sermons, to produce shows like this and other stuff, like the way that religion is shown, worship is done, practiced, has been changed irrevocably, and it's down to these things. Like, online sermons would not have been possible without the work of scientists. So, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you again, because everything you just said there didn't change anything about my religious practices. You came with the communion. Number one, we don't do it like the Catholics, number one. So
yeah, but they do.
During the
so only your religious practice matters, not yours
specifically that matters.
Okay, cool.
I thought we were having a conversation. I said 3 words. So Jesus did the communion one way. Are you saying today, because of all of these scientific things, that somehow my practice of the communion is different?
Yes, that's literally what he just said.
Yeah, but it's one of the most. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because it doesn't make any sense. But the fact that you went this far to show me that somehow my religion changed, my religious practices, cultural practices, the Romans had to offer a sacrifice on the 8th day. They built temples for this. Architecture, culture, religion. That's a change when you have a 7-day cycle, because now you cannot operate under the worship of Jupiter no more, because you need the 8th day.
And the architecture and everything that you just talked about is also subject to math and to physics, which are now standardized under SI units. So here we are again. Like, you keep talking about your cultural and religious practices as if your personal practices are the one you're talking about. We're talking about a global scale here. Nobody, if one random Joe Schmo on the street decides to start using an 8-day cycle, I doubt you specifically are going to care about that, and it's going to change your argument. We're talking about the mass of the of the Earth, not you specifically.
Okay, so number one, as I was saying, all of these things, with or without them, my religion wouldn't change. You came with an example of communion. I'm scratching my head to see how all this science is that going to change. I take some wine, I take some bread, and it's not loafers. So we take some bread, we take some wine, and we drink it, we eat it. We don't have to measure it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And it has nothing to do with sovereignty, because I'm not submitted to it. But the standardization of the 7-day week used amongst every government, which you're submitted to, is a sign of sovereignty. So you guys are very desperate. And is this what
I'm very bored now.
Yeah, it's kind of dragging on.
Okay,
let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you one question, and we'll see where this one goes, and that'll determine whether or not we continue the call at all. Legitimate question for you. If, say, today I were to start a petition online that says that we should really have an 8-day week, and I gathered millions and millions of signatures all around the country here in America, hundreds of millions of people I convinced them all, and they agreed, and we signed the petition, and it went up to the president. The president decided, all right, fuck it. Yeah, no, the people want it, so we're doing it. And they signed an executive order. And that day, America now identifies with, or adopts an 8-day week. And that's how we're going to work. And we add Schmubs Day or whatever the fuck. If it actually happens that right now we changed to an 8-day week in this country, would you stop believing in God?
Yes, and good luck with that. It's never gonna happen.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm asking. That's so if today,
I'm making a statement. I thought we were having a conversation. Yes, this is the means by which you can falsify my argument, and that's never going to happen. But you can believe in fairy tales if you like to.
I'm asking you a question. It's not a fairy tale. Once again, it seems like you're really, really interested in trying to just win an argument than just talk. And I don't understand who hurt you to make you behave that way.
Oh, it's fine, Forrest. He's owned us thoroughly. Oh, dear.
Yes, that's what we do. To win a debate about God. Yes. Glorified that way.
Well, I'm glad you're having a happy Sunday there, Chief. Sorry, Chef.
Most definitely.
Christian coming around. You got a real one. You now all of a sudden you're panicking. What's going on?
Look at the panic on my face.
Yeah.
Look at the panic.
I appreciate the opportunity. He's coming back soon. Please don't waste your time trying and stop avoiding reality. You're keeping the 70 week. He's sovereign over you. You're going to submit to him either way, but it doesn't mean you're going to be saved.
Can't wait.
Better to
Superb.
It's great. So I'm like, just it blows my mind, and we'll end on this because it's been about 30 minutes and we got to move on. But like, what blows my mind is that like this whole time we've just been asking you questions, and we've been trying to like put up just basic criticisms to your premises here, and every single time you've been laughing and declaring yourself the victor of some debate that isn't going on, and trying to tell us that you've been accusing us of coping and of panicking and of all these things, when all we've done is tell you reasons why we're not convinced by what you said. It doesn't make any sense to say that this necessitates God being in power. It doesn't make any sense, even if you say that this is proof of his power. It doesn't make any sense to justify any other claims. It doesn't make any sense to ignore the historical facts of cultural cultural homogeneity being enforced as opposed to being divinely inspired. Like, these things are just like really like basic conversations that we could be having. And it seems like no matter what we try, rather than giving us a legitimate answer, you'll launch into some tirade about how we're coping and how we're panicking and how you're educating us and all these things. And then when you say something else silly and we try to explain that that's not what we're talking about, you complain that we're interrupting you and that you're not allowed to speak and that you're being muted and all that. And it's that's not how thinking works. And I don't get how you're comfortable coming into this conversation and just exclaiming something as if that exclamation alone is an argument. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I appreciate muting me, but guys, I did my job. You've been served something delicious. Now, do what you may with it.
We've been served something irrational and weird, dude. It's a deeply, deeply weird position.
All your responses. No, I understand. All the responses you provided, I refuted some of them, but some of them I don't even need to refute. It's like so. Like if I had to like babysit somebody and say that's like a stupid.
Okay, no, can we please let him go?
Yeah, dude, for fuck's sake, man. If I just say nuh-uh, that's not refuting. That's all you've done is just been nuh-uh. Anyway, we're gonna move on, dude. It's been real weird. I'll be honest with you. I'm not inspired. I'm not convinced. Maybe next time. Oh, he hung up. Yeah. Maybe next time it'll be something slightly different. But like until then, I'm not holding my breath, man. Honestly.